Hello, everyone. I've been called again to go live. My subject matter today is too many people tell me they love themselves when they don't. So I'm going to list all the information. If you fall under anything on this list, then I suggest you work on it, because then you don't love yourself. And the other main feature that I want to talk about is to really drive home what it means that you are your own creator, because most of you don't get it at all. So, excuse me, before I go on, I was also told that Spirit has a message for you. Hi, everyone. And I don't know what it is, but it's going to come back, out of my poetry book, God's Messages of Truth. Welcoming change. Welcome any changes to be. I welcome any changes in me. Whatever changes I make, I welcome it for heaven's sake. I am not fearful to start new. I'm excited for a different part of you. Live life free, without chains, without restrictions, without games. Whatever happens to me, I welcome any change. That sets me completely free. I want to knowingly live in multidimensional reality. Fly like a bird, roam Mother Earth, visit any land on God's green earth. Frolic in the woods, walk on a bridge, have a tiger as my friend. No more lies, no more deception, only love is our infection. Everyone equal as they should be, everyone loves everyone you see. Rainbows shining everywhere, nothing is bad. No more cares, just pure love, clean air. No more illness to bear. Our fantasy has blossomed, hell has passed, and it's forgotten. The truth will set us free. I welcome it. Let's be love. Let's live in multidimensionality. Love is the key that will set your world free. Wow, I love my guys. In this poetry book, I can't tell you how much I love it. It's amazing, because really, if you love yourself, and if you understand completely what it really means that you are your own creator, then that whole poetry will be your life. It's totally my life. I love my life. I love being here. Everything is amazing, unfolding. It's great. Some exciting things are going on in my life right now that I will not share yet. And also, the other situation is that there's a new moon. I don't know if it's today or tomorrow, but it's all about big, big, big change. And it's change in your life. So you have pretty much 30 days to follow your heart, follow your intuition. And let's see, because I listened to this morning. And do something that's totally different. Like step out of your comfort zone, whether it be a relationship ending, whether it be a new relationship, moving out of state, whatever, anything that's different. And it's this, according to the astrologer that I listened to this morning, he was saying that you have the 30 days till the new moon. And if you don't change anything or everything stays the same, then it's going to keep staying the same. So it's just from kind of memory. If you want to listen to his video today, because I thought it was awesome, and it sounded like he was talking to me. He's the Leo King. He does have a Facebook page, and it's on his Facebook page, or it's on YouTube. Hi, Mike, Gypsy, Anna, Jolene, and Joshua, and Luck, everyone that's here. I welcome all of you. Okay, so if you want to change your life, you just need to understand these two concepts. One is the law of attraction states that you will attract all relationships to you, other people who love you only as much as you love yourself. So if you are still attracting karmic relationships, then you don't love yourself. If you judge other people, then you don't love yourself. If you look outside of yourself for other people to make you happy, then you don't love yourself. If you carry expectations, then you don't love yourself. I think I said if you judge others. This drives me nuts. This is a Facebook thing. There's some people here that will post stuff like, I want to test and see who reads my posts, and I'm going to post all this stuff, and I'm going to test you. Well, if you have to go to those links because you worry so much about whether or not people are reading your posts, then you obviously don't love yourself. Boy, I wrote all these notes and now I can't even read them. If you worry about what others think of you, then for sure you don't love yourself. So sorry, but everybody tells me they love themselves and they don't. I mean, it's obvious to me. I mean, I work on myself constantly and I still don't love myself 100%. It's not the easiest task because of the way our life has been and the way we've been brainwashed to believe and think and the way we operate in this world. And, if you have friends that other people don't like and other people talk about you because of that, you don't need those kind of people in your life because they're judging you. They don't love themselves. Who cares what other people think? If you dress for other people, if you do things for other people because it's your duty, your responsibility, or because, it's the rule of life or you have to, then you're telling yourself that you're not important and you don't love yourself. So I would write down this list if I were you, and that's how you can see what you do, and then you could work on it yourself. Because when you love yourself, then your vibration is higher, and then you can receive everything you want to manifest in your vortex. I can't even begin to tell you how wonderful this life is. But for those who continue to stress and worry about everything, blame everybody for everything that goes on in their life, including their parents, you can't have a really great life. You can't live on earth in heaven because that's where it is. It's not somewhere else. It's right here in front of your face, if you want to see it. There's holographs that I've been seeing of people dancing across the street in a dirt lot, and I see them as a holograph. We're all multidimensional, and it's just magical to see this dirt lot get turned into like a hoedown. There's like hay in a circle, and all these people are dancing and laughing and singing and kissing. And really, I guess they're elementals. And they're all about peace, love, and joy. I mean, there's so much here on the planet about peace, love, and joy. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading what you wrote, Joshua. Oh. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, Joshua. I don't trust doctors. I really believe that most of us are sick because of the poisonous foods that we eat and the air and everything else. Our thought process, everything's so negative and evil. If I were you, I would go to Facebook, look up the medical medium, and he wrote a book. He wrote a bunch of books now, but his first book was The Medical Medium, and he writes every single illness and how to heal it. Now, I had IBS, and I went to a medical intuitive, and he told me nobody has anything. It's all, every single thing that everybody has can be healed. So I would check into that. And in the meantime, follow the list. And also you have the ability to heal yourself. So when you're given a negative diagnosis, it creates all kinds of fear in you. So you want to put out to the universe different thoughts, different words. You don't want to talk about that. That has to do with you are your own creator, which I'm going to talk about next. But so you just say, I am healed. My cells are in alignment. You can call Archangel Raphael. Whatever the symptoms are, you just say the opposite, that you don't have these symptoms because I really don't know what they are. It's possible that CBD oil can help you because that's like the wonder medicine of the world. I mean, think about how all this propaganda about how bad marijuana is for you when it's healing people of pain, of sickness, of illnesses, of cancer, of arthritis, seizures. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know if you've checked into that too. If you're interested in going that route, there's a really good friend of mine who has a Facebook page here. It's called Saving Grace THC. And he makes it, and he could tell you if it could help you. Well, Jeremiah, does anyone truly love themselves fully? Well, you have to know what it means to love yourself. It's not looking in the mirror and saying, oh, I'm beautiful, so that means I love myself. No, it's all the things that I've listed, and there's probably more, but I just can't think of anything else than what I wrote. But yeah, for sure, because we don't love ourselves because we've been brainwashed not to. We've been brainwashed by really taking all the 50 universal laws. I will bring this up every time. Your life is the 50 universal laws. I would search them or go into this page, my page, look at past events, and you will find all my YouTube videos on the universal laws. There's a universal law about the karmic wheel that I'm talking about. And there's also the universal law about you are your own creator. And people don't get it. Every single solitary thought that you have, you create. You don't even have to speak it out loud. You just have to think it. So number one, every single thing has to be positive. There's nothing negative that goes on in this life. There never has been, and there never will be. It'll happen for those who believe that things are negative, because what you believe is what you create. When you listen to all the negatives on the news, the radio, and all the brainwashing that we've been through, then your mind is already set to be negative. And then all the ads and the commercials and the health issues and all of that stuff, you can change it like that. I have healed myself many, many times, but trust me, I was going down the tubes during it. And then I had to tell myself I'm okay. And I told myself I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, until I was okay. So you can change anything in your life in a second to the positive, and you could change your life to the negative just as quick. A lot of people think that everything they have to change creates so much work. It's kind of a joke in a sense, because it's like, oh yeah, it must be really tough, to be positive. But every single thought, if you think you're fat, you'll be fat. If you think you're skinny, you'll stay skinny. If you think you can't work out at the gym, you won't be able to work out the gym. If you think you're too old to run because, they've told you when you get to be a certain age, you can't do a lot of things. Sorry, bullshit. You can do whatever you want to do until it's time for you to leave the planet. And when you leave the planet, you chose to leave the planet the way you chose to do it. So it's not about looking at other people, looking at other countries, looking at third world countries. Oh God, the storms, the hurricanes, the cities being wiped out. This is all planned. You don't really know why any of this is going on. And the news wants you to look at it as positive. They will pump it into the television set, the radio, the weather channel, until they drown you with all their subliminal messages that are attached to the news. So you're being programmed every time you watch the news, every time you watch movies. I mean, seriously, you have to shield yourself from the stuff that goes on around here. And when you don't pay any attention to it, then you're not affected by it. You just live in your own world. But if you have continual bad relationships, then you don't love yourself because they're karmic. You choose your karma before you come here, because if you've been here 20,000 times, during those 20,000 lifetimes, there are things that you've done where that's just being human. So, I got into kind of a confrontation with someone here last week, and I'm not going to mention any names, but that's the other thing that goes on Facebook. You need to know there's a lot of people here who profess to be angels and star seeds, and they're anything but. And you can tell by some of the things that they post on Facebook. And I'm not going to get deep into that at all. In fact, I'm not even going to bring it up anymore. I just need to bring it up right now. So anyway, this person took, oh my God, I can't even tell you how much time to write maybe 20 paragraphs on how disgusted they were that this child was molested, and somebody on a higher level had said it's karma. And then you get this, I'm an astrologer and there's no such thing as tit for tat. Well, you don't know shit if that's what you're going to say as an astrologer, because we have laws. And the real laws are the laws that rule the universe. And, the human life is a second. I mean, you could live here for 120 years, and when you leave and transition to your spirit body, you've only been here a minute. So in real reality, you live in an illusion. This is an illusion. Why don't you make it into a dream world? Because you can, because you are your own creator. A lot of deep religious people suffer from all of the negative input that they received in church day in and day out. And they're so hooked on that Jesus came here to save you from your sins, and God is judgment. It's fear-based. And the world's about love. It's not about fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. So those people are so stuck on, how, God will save them and God will do this. God is the creator. And so you are God because he created you. So you're your own God. So God is the power of the universe. Yes. God created this planet only as an experiment because we have free will. Yes. God is giving you the ability to create what you want. So if you want a house, you can create it. If you want a relationship, you can create it. If you want to be healed and healthy, you create it by the words that come out of your mouth and every single thought that goes in your head, because your thoughts are heard too. You could test it, and things change in seconds. It's not years and years of trying to change yourself until you see any kind of results. Once you change one negative aspect about yourself, you'll get instant results, because we can have what we want, and everything that you've asked for is in a vortex. And this is from Abraham Hicks, if you know her. You can't get anything out of that vortex unless you vibrate at the same level of your desires. How do you vibrate? You stay positive 100% of the time. Nothing is negative. If you try to get a job and you can't get a job, it's positive. It's positive because there's nothing in that job for you, and there's nothing that you can share your light with. So you won't get the job, period. People, you can spend a lot of your time and energy trying to uplift people and teach them these things, and they continue to do the same thing over and over again. That's fine. They're not ready, but I am no longer expending my energy on people who don't see the value of what they can do with themselves, because they're not ready to do it. It's your soul that's ready. You can erase your karma by learning love, peace, and wisdom. And most definitely, when you sit around and worry about what other people are doing and judging everybody else, you 100% do not love yourself. And you're not having a high vibration, so don't even expect to receive anything that you want, because you're not going to until you change. So you just look at everything that you think is negative and you turn it around and make it positive. The job is one thing. Relationships, God, if you're in bad relationships, you obviously don't love yourself. And I wouldn't even get into another relationship until you work on your positivity, because you're just going to keep on that Ferris wheel. And trust me, I've been on that I was, past tense, I was on that Ferris wheel for 60 years. So it's not that it needs to take you as long as it's taken me, but my life's been about relationships. And I've been through the ringer and back, and so have most of you. So saying that time isn't real, it's never too late. It's only too late because you've been brainwashed to believe that it's too late. You've been brainwashed to believe that when you get a certain age, that you lose your memory, that you get Alzheimer's disease, that you get dementia, that you can't lift weights, that you can't. Oh, and you better pump yourself up with pills and shots, because you're going to get this sickness and this illness and this problem and that problem. And hell, to be honest with you, I don't even go to a doctor, because by the time I leave a doctor, I'm stressed to the max. All of a sudden, I've got every single disease that they talk about, and it takes me a while to release all that stuff. So let them find things with you with their tests or whatever, and then go the alternative route to get healed. There's lots of alternative healers. There's awesome intuitive healers. This intuitive healer healed me of my IBS. And I've had it for probably 50 years and it's gone. So, and how did it get healed? Everything in your body gets healed by fruits and vegetables and herbs. I'd stay away from all processed foods, anything in a box, and only eat healthy food. I mean, look at this. If the world cared about you, would they make organic food which has no pesticides that they have to spend their money on, no poisonous anything, no injected dirt or whatever the heck they do to poison everybody? So it should be cheaper. But is it cheaper? No, they make sure that it's more expensive. Everything that's good for you is more expensive. And they lie to you and tell you because of the processing. Well, really? What about animals? We shouldn't even be eating them. But if you're still eating animals, you need to at least eat the cage-free eggs, the antibiotic-free chicken, which also reminds me that before Amazon bought Whole Foods Market here in the United States, I don't know if it's in Europe, an antibiotic-free whole chicken cost $17. That's crazy because it said antibiotic-free. Well, I mean, you can go to Walmart and buy one for $6, same damn chicken. But my other point is they don't inject the chicken with antibiotics. They don't feed it poisonous anything. They don't spend their extra money poisoning the animals so in turn they can poison us, but yet we pay more for it. Dairy is no good for you. I mean, everyone should eliminate gluten and dairy, even if it doesn't affect you. It's poison. Dairy keeps you sick. Dairy keeps fungus growing in your body that you'll never heal from as long as you drink milk and eat dairy products. So just get rid of it. And they have coconut milk, coconut almond milk. Now they just came out with coconut milk yogurt. So there's non-dairy, butter and cheese and all kinds of stuff. So, the world is coming around, and eventually they're going to have to lower their prices because all of you are getting a lot more smarter than we've ever been before. They're all about the money. So if people stop buying their products, they're going to have to change. It's us who can make this world change. It's us by being love. It's us by spreading love to everybody. It's us by seeing the person's soul and not their outer appearance. Because a person's outer appearance is an illusion. It's not real. Even all this gay bashing. I mean, gay bashing is disgusting to me too, because we're not even male or female. That's another illusion. I chose to be a woman this lifetime, but there are many times I've chose to be a man. Racial issues. I've been all the races, and so have all of you. All of you, and I'm sure there's not anyone listening at this moment, but all of you that hate all these other races, you've been that race too. And it's even a karmic law that if you intensely hate any race, then you'll come back and be that race anyway. So, you see, this world you live in, you need to erase every single solitary thing you learned in school, history. You need to erase how to have a relationship. You need to erase the age bullshit. You need to erase all of it. And then you need to be positive. And you wake up every day and you're grateful. And the more grateful you are, the more you get. You hand money to the homeless instead of having this brainwashed idea that homeless people are nothing but low life citizens and they put themselves there, and why should I give them my money? Well, that money really isn't your money. That money, you can be super ass greedy and hold on to your money, and you will come back a homeless person. Because those homeless people and third world people, that's why they're there. That was their choice. You know, molestation is a choice. I mean, it's not a tit for tat. It's, you know, it's like put yourself on a cloud and pretend that you're a spirit, because that's really what you are. And give yourself some wings if you want, because we're all angels. And say, all right, back in 1615, I had a relationship, and I lied, I cheated, and I abused that person. And I also abandoned him and left him for somebody else. So now you're sitting on that cloud. You only come here to raise your vibration, to learn about love, and to deal with your karma. So you could say, all right, well, I'm going to set myself up in a situation where I have to deal with what it feels like to be abandoned. And then you pick your parents, you pick your family, because everyone's karma. This time of your birth, the exact time of your birth, is your path on this life. You always have good and bad karma, lessons to learn. And so you'll pick parents that are going to pass away early. Maybe they'll die right after your birth. I mean, maybe they'll die, when you're 12. And then maybe both parents will die within a year of each other. And then your boyfriend will leave you, or your husband will cheat on you. And do you understand this whole process? You created it. So stop pointing fingers at the president and all the things that go on around you. Because, I live in California. California is the greediest state that I could ever think of. I like it here because people do their own thing. They mind their own business. I mean, there's other states around here that people are all up in your business, or they're crazy religious people. They're Jehovah's Witnesses. They're all kinds of weird stuff. But whatever. They are full of hate, they're full of fear, and they're full of negativity. And I'm not saying California's perfect, but people leave you alone here. People don't bother you here. Not the mass of people. Unfortunately, if you are Black, you can still become, racially profiled, which, damn, I wish that would end already. But, if you are racially profiled, it's kind of a random thing. It's not an everyday thing like it would be in some of these other states in the U.S. And, oh my God, I thought I lost my thought. But all of that stuff, you just think about positive. Everything's positive. It's like if you go to school and you fear passing, you won't pass. If you tell yourself, I'm so stupid, I can never remember anything, you won't remember anything. This is what I need to drive home to you, that you created it. You created all of it. So if your parents suck, if they're totally 3D and they're bad and negative to you and they don't do nice things to you, let them go. You don't need them in your life. You don't. You don't need any of your friends, your so-called friends, who talk about you behind your back. They're judgmental. They don't love themselves. Why hang out with that energy? Because we're all energy. Yesterday, I hung out with somebody, and that person was extremely negative, so negative that the negative energy attached itself to me, came to my house, and I had to sage my brand new apartment that has been so pure of negativity that the longer I'm here, the more I can see how extremely negative my last place was. Ugh, what a difference. And you don't spend so much time outside of yourself. What you want to know is inside. What you need to know is inside. Nothing is outside of yourself. Not a lover, not a relationship, nothing. So when you want to have a relationship, you don't judge them or try to change them. Well, it just goes back to you don't love yourself. So you can just stick around in a karmic relationship, because when somebody challenges you, they are mirroring you. And what everybody does is go, oh, well, that's an asshole, or she's a this, or he's a that. No, thank you for coming to my life and showing me that I'm judgmental, or that I'm picky, or that I raise my voice, or whatever bothers you about other people is what you do. I mean, that's all you need to know. All you need to know to change your life. You stop worrying about everybody else, because everybody else is your reflection. Everybody is you. If you want to attract loving friends, loving relationships, then you can only attract to you how much you love yourself. It's all about you. If you want to know anything, you get in touch with yourself. If you want help, you ask your guides, and you tell your guides specifically how you want them to deliver the message to you, because it's not a mystery. You just tell them. Oh God, probably in 2009, I don't even know how many years that was ago. It doesn't really matter. But in 2009, there was an astrology site that I would read every day on the internet, and I had it sent to my email. So I told my guides, any message that you want to give to me, then you just put it right here. And then every day, like if I thought, how do you basket weave? Then the next day would all be about basket weaving. It's like magic. The world is simple. It's easy. It's magic. I've told you this in my last video. I told my guides that I wanted a place that I could afford, that I didn't have to stress over, that I didn't have to move because the rent increased and I couldn't afford it. I mean, I hate to tell you that 1-bedroom apartments in San Diego run from $1,400 a month and up. It's crazy. So I got the notice to move, and I made a phone call because one of my Reiki clients had told me about this apartment complex that was government subsidized, so the rent was cheap and it was regulated, because nothing here is regulated. And when I made the phone call, after I found out I had to move, the line was switched. Because I called that apartment, the only one I knew about, and it went click, click, and went to a whole different place. So sum total, if you've heard this before, there's 5 of them that I didn't know anything about, only knew about one. And they're all on a 1-year waiting list. But because I had to move, my guides worked it out that somebody left unexpectedly. There was nobody except one person ahead of me on the waiting list. And I got on and asked to fill out an application 4 days after I made the phone call. And it's magic. Do you want to live that kind of life? Then do it. It's your choice. You create it, not anybody else. Nobody is in charge of your life. Nobody here can harm you. Think about this. The movies, the horror flicks, the news about rape, murder, theft, robberies. Why do you think they do this? So you can create it for yourself. How do you think this happens to you? It's either a karmic situation that you set up, that you robbed somebody else, blah, blah, blah. But other than that, if it's not a karmic thing, your fear created yourself being robbed. So it's not about off with his head and throw him in jail and, burn him at the stake like they did in the 1800s or whatever. It's, put him on the electric chair. That's a whole USA thing. I wouldn't even be surprised if actually, unfortunately, I have yet to go to Europe, but I wouldn't be surprised if Europe is a better place to live than right here. And I'll tell you why. Because this girlfriend of mine got me hooked on this stupid show. It's called the 90 day, I can't remember the 90 day. It's about people who fell in love across country. So like here I am in California, I go online, I meet somebody in a different country. We don't know each other. You never really know anybody that way. You talk, you Skype or whatever, and then, you fall in love and then you plan to meet and then you get together in person. And like I said, you don't know that person until you stay with them. And then you see all these things about them that you didn't really like or you didn't even know about. And it has something to do with that. You have 90 days. And we won't even get into the situation of what these countries charge for you to, God forbid, fall in love with someone and want to marry somebody in a different country. The borders need to go. I mean, trust me, just over that whole situation, it's all a setup. It's a setup for money that they want to have and that they do have. They go as far as doing the Las Vegas thing. They did it. It's not some random crazy person. If you were at the concert, if you're anywhere where disasters happen and you leave the planet or something happens to you, it was predestined. That's it. But anyway, this 90-day marriage thing, this one guy, oh God, do you see what I do? I have too much information up here that gets all messed up, and now I don't even remember what my point was about that. I hope you guys are laughing at me because I'm laughing at me. But anyway, I know what it was. Now I remembered. Okay, all I had to do was give myself a thought. Well, a lot of these people, in fact, all the people who've hooked up with someone in another country, and we're talking the Philippines, Spain, Germany, France, some other country, I can't remember the name of it. All the girls or all the guys are half these people's age. So the Americans that have fallen in love with these people in these other countries, like if you're 50, the girl you fell in love with is 20 years old in a different country. Or you're 40 and the girl that you fell in love with is, 22 or 28. Or you're a woman and you're 40 and the guy you're in love with is 24. Okay. So in every single solitary case that I'm watching, every person in the United States is older than the person they're hooking up with in Europe. It's almost embarrassing to watch this because all these quote unquote older people who should know better, which age is just a damn number, it means absolutely nothing, should be the opposite, should be the younger people. These European people, Filipinos, whatever they are, I can't think all the other countries, they are extremely mature. They know more about life than these Americans that come over. And that was my whole point about America and the USA. It took me an hour to figure it out. But, you know, it got me to start thinking and seeing that, and this is how I learn things too. Because I'm very analytical and I analyze everything to death. But it's to my advantage and your advantage, because then I can tell you about it. So I'm beginning to think that, you know, the greatest countries to live in is somewhere off in Europe and not even here. I think the biggest terrorist country is the United States. And you know Facebook is monitored. And trust me, I'm monitored big time. Because I say whatever I want to say, because I ain't worried about it. They can try to off me if they want to. Death isn't real anyway, so if I get my point out, that's all that matters to me, because I can just come back. Whatever. I've been here a million times. I've been burned at the stake so many times for all the things that I do, because my stamp, my core personality is a leader, is rebellious. I wouldn't even be surprised if I was Joan of Arc. I mean, seriously, I read her story and all I did was cry for 2 days, but I can relate. I have no fear of anything that everyone fears. What do I fear heights still. I fear getting dizzy on roller coaster rides. And I know I can overcome it, but I don't really want to, because I don't care. You can overcome anything you fear. All you have to do is change your thought. But to me, you know, that I don't like to go on a roller coaster ride, it's not that big of a deal. It's not going to change my life one way or another. So I think I've gotten my point across. I'm just skimming here to see if anybody has anything that you want to ask me other than Joshua. Oh, 90 Day Fiance. Yeah, that's what it is. Joshua, you must be watching that show. You spelled fiance all wrong. That's okay. Yeah, the 90 Day Fiance. So if you watching that show, Josh, then you know that Americans do not look good at all. Because we live in the country of terrorism. It's not Pakistan. It's not Iraq. It's not Afghanistan. Why do you think these countries are poor? Because the people who run the United States, Britain, possibly Russia, Germany, and France created it. I mean, Africa has diamonds. They should be loaded. Why do they not own diamonds? Because these other countries stole their diamonds and turned around and sell them back to them. So, you know, I wouldn't like to go down that road because it makes me want to throw up. So this is why we just ignore it. Ignore negative people. Don't worry about if you don't get a job or the one that you want, because the one that you're supposed to have will be created for you. Just like my apartment, every job I've ever had, all I have to do is ask, or they tell me what I need to do next. It happens. And if I have a question, like I could just say like when I went to the school district back in 2003, because my guides told me I had to go to the school district because I have a connection with children, which I found out, oh my God, I have connection with children. I mean, I worked in special ed. I taught children how to read, and I could read children right through their heads because of my emotional healing abilities. That's my main thing, is I'm an emotional healer. I came to this world as an emotional healer, and I added Reiki to the mix, but it's my emotional healing that's prominent. And the psychologist was amazed how I was diagnosing some of these children's medical issues. Am I a doctor? No. Do I know anything about medicine? Not really, except that it's poisonous. And I didn't even know that then. Like, for instance, one of the girls who couldn't read could never get better. They gave her tests after tests and all this stuff. And I'm by myself with her and 5 other children. So a teacher can't really tell and doesn't have the time with 30 or 40 kids in their classroom. And I could tell, actually, I told the psychiatrist, the school psychologist, that this child was having multiple seizures. They were so fast that nobody even caught them. But as she's sitting across from me, I'm looking at her and I'm going, she's having seizures. But they're not the seizures that you're all aware of. It's not the ones that, you go on the floor and you whatever, all that kind of stuff. It's just quick. It's quick enough that if a teacher is teaching you like ABC and you go into a seizure mode, you don't hear any of it. So you don't learn. And he did a tested her, and that's exactly what she had. And she wasn't the only child that I diagnosed. Just called him up all the time and said, why don't you check this out? Or why don't you check that out? Or I think this, or I think that. And why did I know? Because nobody on this planet knows anything. Nobody. Who knows everything? Your ascended masters. Who guides you? Who teaches you? Who knows about Einstein? Schizophrenia. That's another bunch of bullshit. I don't know what it's like in Europe, but here people are schizophrenia and let's give them drugs. No, they're psychic and visual, but they don't want you to believe that. So they tell you you're nuts. You need to go into an insane asylum and lock you up. See, I'm passionate. I'm very passionate about all of this. And I care a lot about all of you because I want everybody to be better. But it's not up to me. All I can do is tell you what you can do, and it's all up to you to do it, whether you want to do it or not, whether it's your time to do it or not. But if you need to know a formula, if you need to know how to do something that you think you need to go to school for, just ask and be open to receive. You need a doctor, ask, and they'll guide you to the right one. Because I'm sure there's some holistic doctors out there that are hiding in the medical field. You just ask and you be specific. Here's another one. I know I've said this probably 3 or 4 times already. And, but when I was giving the signs to move back to California, 13 is my lucky number. So I told my guides, in 2 months' time, I'm going to California to visit my family for Thanksgiving. My daughter's picking me up at the airport. The first car that comes in front of her after I get in her car has to have the number 13 on the plate. And then that means you want me to move to California. And so they did it for me. That's how it works. When you drive down the road, if you have bad experiences on the freeway, and then you think that the people on the freeway are rude and obnoxious and mean, or they don't allow you in their lanes or whatever, that's what you're going to see, because that's what you think, and so you create it. I was telling some guy who bitched and whined and complained about that, and when I told him this is what you can do, he said, oh, there's a lot of people around the planet like you who think everybody's good. What a joke. Do you think he has a good life? He doesn't. Why doesn't he have a good life? Because he's negative. You can't attract any positive things to yourself if you're negative. So did I drive this point home about you are your own creator? Oh, I forgot one important feature here. Now, how do you create things in your future? You can write, you can ask, but the fastest way to do it, because the quickest way to create things in your life is to say you already have it. So, for instance, you want a relationship. Don't know where else to go, people. Sorry. You want a relationship. So you don't tell people you're looking for a relationship. You don't go out searching for a relationship. You don't say, I can never have a relationship, because then you never will. I can never have a relationship with the right person, because you won't. So you don't say anything negative. So you can say like, oh, I'm so happy you came into my life. You're so wonderful, affectionate, loving. You allow me to be me. You understand the universe just like I understand it. And that's just so awesome. And then every day, I would say things like, oh, thanks for those beautiful flowers you gave me. They smell so nice. Now, look, I didn't get any of that at the time I was talking about it, but I created it for my future. So you want something, you put it out to the universe that you already have it. You act like you already have it. You're grateful for having it. And you can even go further and visualize it. So you can visualize whatever it is that you want. And you put the feeling into it. Everything's about visualization, feeling, and speaking or thinking only positive thoughts. Now, it takes time to get used to being positive, because it's not only this life that we've been dealing with this crap. So you have to practice. You've got to write things down. You need to write affirmations down every day. Only build yourself up. If you think you're not too smart, how smart you are. If you can never pass a test, and you always say passing a test is hard, passing a test is so easy. I retain everything I need to know for the test. Do you see what I'm saying? You can even visualize yourself getting an A on your test. That's it. So any of you that says it's so hard or I'm still trying, you're doing it all wrong. Because you don't need to do anything that's hard, because nothing's hard. Everything's easy. You just change. I am happy. I am healthy. I am free. I am abundant. I am loved. I have the best man in my life. Blah, 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 blah. And, if you just joined, because I've been doing this for an hour. Maybe you could skim through it. I don't know, hear what you need to hear. But you can just listen to it after I sign off. So, what happens to you, Catherine? You said happens to me, or you spelt it wrong. You said MEIT''S. I don't know what that word is. Kim Kempton, they just want into the USA. I'm not sure I understand what that means. Joshua, I'm not smart. Look, you know, now's the time to find out who you truly are. I know I'm a healer and I know all of that, but I also have come to realize that I am an ascended master. I'm part of the 144,000 light workers. I'm a so old soul that I know all of this stuff. And whatever I don't remember, I'm given to by my guides. I don't have 1 or 2 or 3 guides. I have a tribe. Back in the day when Verizon, they used to have those Verizon commercials, you know, the Verizon network, and they used to do those commercials. I've had so many psychics tell me, Maxine, you don't have 1 or 2 guides. You got the Verizon network with you. So I am guided. I am influenced. I am told things while I sleep, while I'm awake. 3 o'clock in the morning, they'll wake me up and give me information. I mean, my mind is going constantly. So it's not that I'm smart, because I'm not any different than you. We're all equal. I'm just more knowing because I've experienced it. That's all. Just like, you know, Jesus came here as an ascended master. That's what Jesus is an ascended master. Gandhi is an ascended master. I mean, I actually saw Jesus and Gandhi at one of the Patricia Cota-Robles seminar back in 2004. And I saw them on stage in a field. So it was pretty amazing. Okay, Joshua, it's okay to misspell it, but it took me a minute to figure out that it was, see, I already forgot the word. Fiance, that's what it is. Yes, Joshua, I'm glad we've crossed paths. You know, like I said, right this second, as soon as I hang up, disconnect or whatever, you can ask me anything you want, but don't send it to me in a message because I don't have Facebook Messenger. You could post it anywhere on my timeline or whatever. You know, if you need some positive guidance too, you know, join my Messages of Hope and Healing group if you haven't joined it. I want you to start discerning some of these so-called groups that are so-called spiritual. If you see anything that's negative, especially from the group owner, or just stay away. Stay away. And really, I know you all listen to me. The way I see myself is I'm just trying to show you how you can change your own life. It's not about listing what you have to do to ascend and you have to meditate so many minutes a day or you won't ascend. All of that's a bunch of bullshit, okay? So really, if you need to know something, you ask yourself. Or if you can't get in touch with yourself, you don't know yet how or haven't yet connected to your higher self, then ask your guides. Oh, and if you currently have problems that don't go away, you know, visualization works like that. So let me add 2 things. Hopefully I'll remember one of them. Okay, so you have a lot of problems and you have money problems or you have relationship problems or whatever, and you didn't yet see this video and know how to get rid of it. You can visualize all your problems. Like, I don't care if you have one, if you have 1,000, whatever those problems are, put them in a suitcase. So you visualize a suitcase, you put all your problems in the suitcase. You can even write them down on a piece of paper, list them all, and put that in the suitcase. But remember, it's visual. Zip up the suitcase, put a sticker or a label on the outside of the suitcase and say, going nowhere. Zip it up, walk it down to the train station. When the train comes, put your suitcase on the train. Now, your train that's going nowhere just took all your problems, and you know what? They're handled. Bam. Just like that. If you have karmic ties with people that upset you, challenge you, whatever, you can change your relationship with anybody on this planet, anywhere in the world, without even speaking to them. And shoot, how about with your own parents? You can do it with them too. I mean, your sister, your brother, whatever. You just put one person at a time outside of your aura, and all you say to them is, please forgive me for anything I've ever done to you in a past. And I hope you forgive me too. Done. That's it. It's already healed. That quick. If there's things in your body, in your mind, that you can't get rid of, thoughts, then you can do things like, you can say, how many negative thoughts do I have in my mind? And the first thought that comes to your head, you could say 2, you could say 10,000, I don't care, whatever it is. And you take those thoughts and you set them outside your aura. And then you can go, how many bombs do I need to explode them? And the first number that comes to your head is the one that you use. And then you visualize blowing up those thoughts that many times. If it's 10 times, if it's 50 times, if it's 1,000,000 times, whatever, you just blow them up. That's another way to get rid of things. Another tool you can use is you can go inside your head and you can visualize it. Like when I was, starting out this thing or whatever years ago and learned about these little tricks. I mean, I saw like inside my head was full of black sticky tar. So I hosed it down. So I got a hose and I hosed it down and I hosed it down and said, all of this stuff is getting washed down to the center of the earth to be recycled. And I'd get rid of stuff that way. So visualization and little tricks. You don't need a telephone. You don't need to talk to anyone. You don't need to leave your house. You don't need to sit in any damn church. You don't need to do any of that. You can sit right in your chair and say, whatever. You can, whatever. Do whatever you want. It's done. So I hope you've enjoyed my video. I hope you all learned something from it. And I hope we're all on the road of bringing planet Earth to Earth, bringing heaven to Earth for all of you quicker than you think it can be done, because it's already here for me. So it can be here for you too. It's not anywhere else but right in front of you. You just get blocked from negative thoughts. Oh, and the other thing, about self-love is if you can't spend any time with yourself, then you don't love yourself. If you don't enjoy your own time and maybe never date some girl or guy for a month or 2 or 3 or 4, because you're just so in love with yourself and you just love being by yourself and you just love hanging out with yourself, you truly love yourself. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye. I could stay here forever. I love all your energy. I love all of you. Feel free to ask me anything you want. I'm an open book. I do not hide anything. And always speak your truth. If you don't speak your truth, you don't love yourself. Do you see that? It just keeps coming. It keeps coming. Because you fear what other people are going to think. You fear that someone's going to get upset. You fear you're going to hurt someone's feelings. Then they're more important than you. Then don't blame anybody for the shit that goes on in your life. You only have yourself to blame. And I better go because I'll think of something else to say. Bye.